in the dark, I play my dreams. Permaculture flows like sweet streams. I'm the daddy with the know-how seed. Creating the world like it's meant to be. Permaculture, P-I-M-P, I'm the king. Wrapping love in everything. Bring a change, making it last. Join the permaculture.
Welcome to episode 402 of the Permaculture Pimpcast, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion. The only Pimpcast on planet Earth where we discuss permaculture, preparedness, practical living, and sometimes prostitutes.
Permaculture, P-I-M-P, with soulful rays. In the VIP scans where we find our place.
Oh, good to be here with y'all. Okay, episode 402. Kind of an impromptu episode, and folks, I can't begin to tell you how happy I am to be able to do this one today, because as you can see, and a lot of people are thinking, whoa, man, we're already freaking out in the chat. Yeah, guess who's in the house? We got a couple of fine gentlemen, but we'll come to them in a minute. This episode, as always, brought to you by Hickory Ridge Soap from TwoOldCrowsHomestead.com. Turn that simp into a pimp. Bam! Heaven's Harvest. Yeah, go over there, check them out. Perma will get you 10% off. And don't forget, folks, we got coming up in October, Sovereign Health Summit. That's going to be October 27th through the 31st. TPC will get you 5% off. Can't make it any lower, folks. It's already as low as we can possibly make it. But not everybody can arrive. So if you can't be there, we do have an online option. So go to the website at Sovereign Health Summit. You're going to be glad you did. And our top sponsor there, many of you are customers, is going to be Azure Standard. Food for Health 15. Look, this only applies for new customers right out of the gates. For any order over $100, 15% off. That's like getting money from home without writing, especially in these times, y'all. So go over there, be square. I'm going to hit them all up front, folks, because I don't want to take any away from my guests here. EMF rocks. Folks, in addition to be grounded, which I left my grounding mat over there, but in my pocket all day, every day, I got my EMF rocks. Yeah. And you know what I say all the time, I'm G'd up from the feet up, and that means grounded. So you can do that with these EMF. You can at least attenuate some of the nonsense that's around you with these EMF rocks. My son swears that he sleeps light years better, and you can get some yourself for 10% off with promo code PERMA. Everybody's always asking, Billy, why do you wear these glasses out there? These are blue blockers. Now, you see me wearing the yellow lens because it's midday. I wear the red ones when it's at night, when the sun goes down. Look, I've talked about circadian health a million times. In fact, at the Sovereign Health Summit, we're going to have a number of people out there talking about that very thing. But these guys protect my eyeballs, so I'm not getting unnecessary blue light at times of day when I shouldn't get it. Right now, believe it or not, it's pretty close to noon, so I'd probably be all right. But if you want some, Bond Charge, it's in the description box down below, 15% off with promo code PERMA. And then finally, EMP Shield, $50 off with promo code PERMA. All right, y'all, so check this out. Get up early this morning, and I knew these guys were on the way. What I didn't know is when exactly they would get here. So I was up, trying to clean up a few things, get things squared away, and then lo and behold, at the bottom of the driveway, who do I see? Canadians, man, all the way from Canada. How about that, man? And I had no idea that you guys drove straight through in some pretty nasty weather. So what was that like?
It's getting better all the way as soon as we left.
How about that? So, look, folks, I ain't even gonna lie. These guys showed up, and I'm like, okay, who brought? No, I knew they were coming, and I was really excited about it. I mean, folks, I've been to Stefan's place, of course, up there in Canada, and I was like a puppy with two Peters up there, man. I was having the greatest time of my life, loving this place. And I'm thinking, okay, how many awesome things can I take from here and then bring back to my place? For him to be here right now, this is like Michael Jackson showing up. Yeah, even better, because, he shows me how to grow food. So, man, I don't even know where to start with you guys because I'm just so darn excited you guys are here. Right off the bat, folks, if you don't know I should have said this from the get-go. Remember, I'm doing this impromptu with very few, I don't have any notes at all. I think he got worldwide acclaim with the Permaculture Orchard Beyond Organic video. That's where I found you. And I think a number of others found you out there as well, which was paradigm changing for the way I was doing things. It really, really was. And so I watched that video. I even have it paid for. I have not only the physical copy. Do you have any idea how many times when I was still on my tools as an electrician, I watched that video over and over and over and over again to try to memorize every single thing you were saying in there. So, man, Stefan Sobkowiak right here in the Billy's Jungle Palace of Love. I mean, whoever thought this was going to happen? So, man, like I said, I'm just nervous as all get out because he's here and I'm like, wow,
we're here as a team. It's father-son team on the YouTube channel.
I should have mentioned that as well. So why don't you guys for the people that don't know out there, why don't you give us both of you, maybe give a brief bio.
Can I just ask you which one is my headphones? Because I'm really getting a lot of popping in here.
It's going to be right here on your thing. Or you can even take it off if you want. I mean, it's just important that I do. So if you guys get too far away, if you're about this far away from the mic, you're going to be okay.
So for everybody,
so if you want to take it off,
the YouTube videos, you'll understand he doesn't take care of.
I'm not the technical. No, I'm the.
You're probably going to need to get a little bit older.
I'm the orchard person.
Zach
takes care of all.
Yeah, if you want to take the headphones off, fine. I'll that's no problem at all.
They're popping.
Well, see, we got so much in common in the fact that, you know what, if it weren't for Michelle, we wouldn't be doing this podcast right now. So I see you got the same problem.
You know what people don't realize, and but listeners or viewers don't realize that it's rarely a one-person effort. I'm in front of the camera often. He's behind the camera. He's behind the scenes. He's doing all the back end of everything. And yeah, the channel would not be half of what it was without his, so it is a team effort. And like any sport, who you get on your team makes a big difference. Plus, I always say that the biggest treat for me is just spend time with my son.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah.
And so It's just like, hey, we've had lots of times we've gone out to film because like you said in the movie, the Permaculture Orchard is really it's changed from being a farm to being our studio. It's a place where it's a lab, it's a studio. That's where we're experimenting. Before I ask people to say, hey, you know what, this is what you should do. We've done it. We've tried it. We've mostly made most of all the mistakes that you would end up doing if you did what we did, which is start from scratch. So yeah, trial and error is good for the person who's first.
Yeah.
It's certainly a lot less expensive. Like I probably over 60,000 in mistakes. So yeah, learning, like you're saying, the movie, gosh, that was 13 years
Has it
ago
been that long?
Yeah. I was looking at some pictures this fall and I thought, what? That was the orchard when we filmed? It's so small. And we've been since cutting trees in the orchard because like they're way too big. That's why I always encourage people, just start. Start with 2 trios. We'll maybe get into what a trio is, but just start. Do something that will get you started, because I always had a geography teacher in high school would say, starting is 50% of the work done. And I remember I registered the YouTube channel in 2012.
Yep. Wow, that long ago.
Before the film.
Wow.
I thought, yeah, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. I don't know anything about how to do a movie, how to do anything. So the film was a partnership with a guy who's an award-winning photographer, but he wasn't so much a videographer. So for him, it was a bit of a learning experience to do the video, Olivier Asselin. And then, I don't know, 6 years later,
I think I wanted to start YouTube and you wanted to do it too. I didn't know. So we just kind of, broached the subject and decide to start?
Well, I learned so much from both of them, actually. It was Zach over here that kind of, I was like, man, how on earth do you do what you do with the editing on the videos for your dad? And I'm like, I mean, there are things I know what I'm doing. And there are things technically I do not know a thing. And you got me squared away on what how to do the B footage. And I learned so much just the brief time I got to meet you the last time, that it made all the difference in the world for how I did the videos for like 4 videos. And then I went back to doing it. And then I'm like, I'm so busy. I just don't have the bandwidth to be able to do it. But man, I got to say the collaboration, the partnership is definitely. Now, what made you want to get involved in this as well? Because you have another career as well. And I mean, you worked basically 7 days before even getting on the road to come here. Nobody does that sort of thing without at least some kind of passion for what it is you're doing. Why?
I feel like I just like to work. Like I enjoy working. So I literally work 7 days a week, 6 days a week for what, 5-6 years now.
And how old are you?
Old enough.
No, because you never hear this from young people. I like to work. I'm like,
young. I'm 36.
Oh my goodness, man. Okay. Yeah, as you were, bro. You just knocked me.
I got very lucky that I fell into or just found things that I'm passionate about. So you know how they say, if you find something you love, you never work a day in your life. I kind of got lucky and I fell into that. So I work 9 to 5, believe it or not, with all the tattoos. I actually work law enforcement. So I'll work 40 hours there. And then the other days we're traveling or doing whatever with the YouTube stuff. So 6-7 days a week for 6 years.
How did you acquire? Well, let's have you get a little bit closer to the mic. For a lot of people out there that are looking to get into this space, how did you acquire the skills you needed in order to be able?
YouTube.
I mean, really? I mean, so you're autodidact. You basically taught yourself how to do this stuff.
Yes, sir.
Except for the art part. We saw it early, like he loved art. He loved drawing. Anything artistic, he really enjoyed. So that's where.
But we always say, I wanted to be a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Like it shows. And my parents were super against it. So I was like, okay, which medium of art can I do that they'll be proud or they would accept and that I would enjoy doing? And YouTube just became that outlet.
Man, that is so cool. So man, this is a match made in heaven.
And like you said, we'll go and film stuff sometimes and like, I don't know, weather conditions or something won't be permitting. But at the end of the day, it's insane how I get to go and do that. And I get to spend time with my dad. Like there's so many people out there that don't have that relationship, whereas he's literally like my best friend. And the fact that we get to help other people in the process, insane, super lucky.
Man, that is absolutely fantastic. Y'all holler if you hear me out there. Hey, if you're live out there, because this is something of an impromptu thing. We just kind of came right on. If you would hit that thumbs up, tell everybody that we're live so they can go ahead and start suppressing us like they always do. Look, YouTube, we're not going to talk about any of the things I know you hate. We're not going to tell anybody how they can heal themselves. Well, maybe not so directly, but if you take some of the stuff we're talking about, maybe it might be a great blessing to you. Well, it's a joy to be able to have you guys here. So when you and I were corresponding back and forth through text and you were coming down, I just figured, okay, you were heading to somewhere else. I didn't realize you were coming to the Jungle Palace. What was the inspiration? I mean, is it just that cold up in Canada right now?
Well, as before we were talking, we've been in snow at home since the end of November. And we've had snow on the ground since. It's kind of weird to be traveling and then, oh, wow, look, there's no snow here. And so that's always nice. If you're coming from that, just a little bit less winter is a nice change. Anybody who's further north recognizes that, yeah, it would be nice to get away from the snow just for a bit. And that's why they love selling vacations south in the winter in Canada. Like that's a big seller. Because if you can afford it, people do travel just to get a little more sun. And really, you talk about light and the importance of that. Nothing beats sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
I say that going to the farm for me is my gym. It's my physical therapy. Why? Because I'll usually pick days that are sunny. And in the winter, the coldest days are often the sunniest. We're in a high pressure
Yes.
zone. It's
Yep.
sunny. It's clear. You see now it's cloudy around here, but part of it is we're in full sun at home because we're in the Arctic colds. Like we just had, with the morning we were leaving, it was minus 16 Celsius, which is about zero. Minus 18 is zero. So it's in the high pressure. It's clear. It's sunny. As we're traveling further south, we hit the band that the high is meeting the low, and then it forms these clouds. And that's just that. What time of year do you normally have kind of the sun really returns? I know you've been having less of it, but it's as the jet stream swings too, makes a large part of it. I remember a few years ago, we had 18 days in a row that it never went as a high above zero.
Wow.
18 days. But it was sunny for 18 days. And I usually went out to ski every day because it was glorious. It's cold, but if you're moving, it's great. And you get such a sun dose. People would say, where have you been down south? I'm in Montreal. It's cold at this time of year, but I'd be sunburned. I'd be browned because I'm getting sun. And so that exposure is important. Just, get it when you can. And to me, the farm is really an excuse. Oh, it's going to be sunny tomorrow. I know where I'm going to be. And at this time of year, I'll be pruning, but that's fine. It's an excuse to be out in the sun. So try to combine permaculture, right? What is have 3 functions
For
each
everything.
element?
Yep.
Well, what do I get when I go to the farm? I prune. There's 1 function being done. I get sun exposure. There's 2 functions being done. And you know what? I don't need to go to the gym because I'm getting a workout.
That's
There's
right.
3 functions. So try to look at whatever you're going to do with that 3 elements. It's permaculture permeates, right?
That's what I'm talking about. So has any of this bled off on you? Or, I mean, actually it has. And that's part of what I would like to get into because when I was up there, folks, for those that don't know, or those that are just coming in right now, we're talking to a living legend right now, and somebody that's inspired so much of what we do out here. He's a big inspiration for things that we've done here and in Texas and honestly all throughout the place. And I couldn't begin to describe the amount of joy that I had for all the money I was no longer wasting once I learned from him. There's a lot of this stuff that's also in the permaculture design manual, but it's differently when you can see it 3-dimensionally, when you can see things, or at least get a better, or you have a really awesome way of teaching. You have a teaching style that sticks, that once you teach it using acronyms and a number of other things, it's kind of hard to forget. And so I was thinking, man, when I found your stuff, I'm like, okay. I was working with other family members at the time, and I was like, hey, you have got to watch this documentary. What I didn't realize is that there's also that type of person who will listen to everything you said out there and say, I disagree. And I'm like, on the basis of what? I mean, you don't have his experience. Let's just try it. Let's do the recipe and see how this thing works out. So, yeah, you're going to have both sides of that spectrum, but I'm wondering, I'm going to go back to you because you brought up something as I was up there and looking at the orchard. You had areas that were more mature, some that you decided to let kind of go a little feral, and you've had a little bit of everything out there, and it was beautiful. But you've decided to come up with a little experiment of your own up there as well. Talk to me about that. And this is especially important for all of you folks out there that are thinking, oh, I don't have enough land, or I can't do it, or whatever the case may be. So
yeah, so basically, like you said, it's established now. You've had the orchard for how many years?
We planted for
Almost 20 years now.
Mm.
So what happens is the trees are so big. So a lot of the videos that we were producing in past seasons or past years, I felt like it didn't resonate with as many people, or people just got overwhelmed. They see this huge food forest orchard that's already done. I wanted to scale it back, and we spoke about it, and he agreed. So I went out. The video hasn't been released yet, but I wanted to challenge myself. The premise of the video was, we gave you a copy of our masterclass that he has.
mm-hmm.
I don't have any knowledge. The only knowledge I have is through YouTube and editing and creating that masterclass. So I wanted to challenge myself to see that would I be able to go out and plant a fully designed permaculture orchard in 48 hours, so 2 days, a weekend, with $1,000, just based off of everything that I edited for the masterclass. So we haven't released the video, like I said, but how did I do?
Yeah. And the details of that challenge was that I've said it a lot of times, just start 2 trios. And then it was like, well, we've got room at the farm. We've got areas that are empty. Why don't you try it and see, if that justifies? Because I would say, look, you can do that in a day, or at most you can do it in a weekend. And this was not with a long delay where you can order your trees, 6 months ahead. It was kind of, I'm the spur of the moment, last minute, not organized person. He's the very structured, organized, long-term person. So I was like, just start, just do it. Can you do it? So it was going to the nursery, and based on what they had, and my criteria was just don't put in what we've got, because once you do it, you can propagate what you plant. Let's propagate some that we don't have, because why not have a few more cultivars, a few more species if possible. And so that was part of the challenge, and finding plants. And then
I got lucky with some of the plants, because I basically had leftovers. That's what I got to choose from.
Yeah, it was the end of the season. It was fall time, and like what's left. Plus, you have the constraint of the budget. Like,
you got $1,000.
I don't think that'll fit in, because it was easy to find trees that were $150 to $200 potted older trees.
The first place we went to, I took B-roll footage of it. I couldn't afford any of them.
Yeah. It's expensive. Like, if you do the math, you go, there's no way we can't do 6 trees.
I wouldn't have enough money for perennials. I wouldn't have enough money.
So the idea was, let's pull you in just a little bit closer there. So the idea, you weren't using bare roots then. You're buying whatever's off the shelf.
I wanted to make it so that like somebody like me, my knowledge, basically nothing, to see if they, again, I don't want to self-plug, but if they purchased his masterclass, based on that, would they be able to produce that for $1,000 in their backyard? That's the whole premise. Because so many people, I feel like I was saying, they get overwhelmed. I don't have acres and acres of land, but you don't really need it. Like he says, just start. So my idea or my thinking was, okay, I have a backyard or a front yard or a yard. Could I put in 6 trees, the perennials, the shrubs, and do it for under the $1,000? And like I was saying, we gave the timestamp of 48 hours, but it's like, can I do it in a weekend? And for context,
and I came around and threw wrenches in it, because I would detour it. I'd say, well, hey, since we're doing 2 trios, and it was 2. We could give some of the details. People haven't seen it, but it was 1 trio in one row and 1 trio in another row. We did it was a bigger spacing, but then it was testing some ideas of things that I'd been talking about that I haven't tested for almost 30 years. I used it in the beginning, but I haven't used it since. The idea of rock dust and the idea.
So he has a whole course in the masterclass just on soil. Right. So for proof of concept, while I was doing that, we came to the idea, well, we have the mulch up. Why don't we do another experiment? So we had to contour that, and we filmed a second video within the video, which is going to come out.
And it's adding the irrigation right into it. And so it's basically to confirm that people can get it done in a weekend and can get it done within that budget. And we were not using the cheapest plants. Like, if we could do it almost on spur of the moment, you say just start, but it's October.
Not only that, but then I know people are going to be like, oh, well, I'm not as young. Like you brought up the age thing. What happened to me 2 weeks before we filmed it? Not scripted. What happened?
Yeah, he blew out his pec. He does a lot of gym. And
wow, and that's right before you were out here doing all this physical work.
So
wow.
I had one arm to plant the whole orchard, basically.
Wow, and still got it done in a weekend.
We'll see what the day.
Well, we'll see. Yeah. Well, hey, don't want to spring the trap just yet. Well, let me back up a little bit because, man, this is really, really big for so many people out there that are thinking, oh, man, one of the biggest things William and I hear all the time is, and like you, man, it's such a joy to be able to work with my son, because I think you know as well as I do, the most worthwhile things we're going to leave behind are not going to be the trees. It's not going to be the animals. It's not going to be the farms, to a lesser degree, maybe the influence, but the most worthwhile thing we all leave behind is our posterity, our children. And like you, for me, it's such a joy to be able to work with my son, to be able to do this. And it's just so awesome to see you doing the very same thing. So that is so awesome. Let me back you up a little bit and talk about the trios, because there's going to be a number of people here that are new and don't necessarily know what you mean by that. And by the way, folks, full endorsement to that master course. I haven't finished it, but I did go through several modules, as I recall. I need to get back onto it. And folks, I'm telling you, for anybody out there looking for some first-class instruction, definitely go check it out. I'm sure Michelle will link it down below and Michelle, if you're listening right now, she may not be, go ahead and link it in here in the chat for those that are so inclined. But obviously the ones that are listening in the audio format, you'll see it down below because it is worth every penny, folks. I am not kidding you.
And you can send Billy a friend request on it too. It's kind of like,
oh man, like I'm not beating enough people back already. I mean, man, they don't get to meet a rock.
People who are in the masterclass and doing it and either have an orchard, have trees. It's good engagement because it's not everybody's involved. Everybody's going and doing.
And you can tell by the nature of the questions there that these people, this is why, folks, I've often talked about this, why you just can't give things away. I've given away butchery classes for free and nobody shows up because people fundamentally think that if you just give it away, it's worthless. So you got to put a price tag on this stuff, folks, and it is worth every dime. Believe me. It is absolutely positive. If you can't be there in person, this is about as good as you're going to get. I mean, you're filming, the angles, honestly, everything about it is fantastic.
It's probably the thing that I've edited or created that still today holds up.
And you mentioned, Billy, at the beginning, the film, permacultureorchard.com. That was really the start of our public aspect of it, because for quite a few 5 years before that, I was like tight-lipped, zipped completely. It was completely private. I didn't have tours. I wasn't open to the public. I did not want to talk about it. Why? Because when I first planted and designed the orchard, I thought, I mean, there's hundreds of people have done this because Mollison's got ideas about it in the book, I just did not know because, first of all, it was kind of before a lot of the social media, so I was not exposed to what other people were doing. And when I started, I was like, I don't know if this will work. Like, this is, for me, because I was looking at the farm as partly a lab. I mean, I was teaching in university for 9 years, and I was teaching things that should be, but I didn't know. Is it? So for me, I had an orchard. I had 4,000 trees as an organic apple orchard. I knew that part. I did that part. And I realized,
how did that work out?
Yeah, it didn't work out very well because unless you put in all the inputs, it's not going to work that well. You're dealing in a monoculture. It's not diversity. So I ripped up most of that orchard. And that's, anyway, like I said, I've got $60,000 plus of mistakes. That was a big mistake. I should not have ripped up most of the orchard. I should have left a third to be at the basis. So I could have had apple trees as one of my trios in each trio. No, I tore them out. Then I replanted little trees that didn't do nearly as well or not as well for years.
Well, you even admit if you could go back in time, you wouldn't have.
I would not have bought that orchard.
Where it is, it's on sand, and yeah.
It's so. And as you were saying, where you're on a steep slide, we've got an advantage as people who are helping other people. If we had an easy situation, an easy site, we could say, oh, come on, you can do that.
Everyone,
Right.
yeah.
You know, it works for everyone. But we've got challenging situations. I mean, your driveway could qualify as a slalom event downhill ski slope.
That's
You know,
true.
It is not your usual driveway, and your orchard is planted all along your driveway. You've put in an extreme challenge right up front. Your soil is not this deep, fertile soil. We're on 40 feet of sand with a water table 8 to 12 feet down. We're not, and I mean, I'm not talking sand, I'm talking
like
beach,
beach, yeah.
sand.
No, I've seen it,
Well,
and
you
you got
saw
to,
it.
yeah, and the place next door, it kind
It's
of,
a sand
yeah.
and gravel pit where they extract, because it's high value
Mhm.
beach sand. And if everybody's been at a beach, you know that the wave comes in and it disappears. Well, that's what happens to our rain. You know, oh, put in swales, because you're talking swales.
when you got a water table 10 feet high.
I mean, we could take a 500-gallon container, tip it over, and it just kind of spreads out. Boom, gone. 2 hours later, you could put your knee on the ground and your pants are dry.
Mhm.
That's how long water lasts. So swales don't work in our situation. So teaching based on a challenging situation. So I look at it as every place is going to be easier than our place.
Mhm.
We have super good success in Europe. Like I've gone for 7 or 8 years to France, Switzerland, Belgium, Sweden less, but certainly France, Switzerland, Belgium. They go, you're in Canada, you're doing this. See, the challenge for us is, wait a minute, what's the coldest we've hit? Minus 38. If you do the math, that's 38 Celsius, minus 38. Minus 40 Celsius is equal to minus 40 Fahrenheit.
Mm.
It's cold. And it was
Mhm.
that cold the year we bought. So what happened was we went from 4,000 trees within 2 years down to 3,000 trees because the trees just froze to death. I mean, it's that cold that it'll
Wow.
kill. And this is apple trees, which are hardy, but there were certain cultivars which weren't hardy. So hard is good if you're teaching it. And you were saying before about I have a way of teaching. Well, one is I try to make it simple. I try to make it relatable, although I do lose that sometimes. That's why the 2 trios, because that's more relatable, because our orchard's less relatable because it's almost 20 years old. So most people don't start there. And the other thing is
But
just,
it is a good proof of concept. Like you
Ah,
came and you
right.
saw it.
Yeah.
And
Right. And was floored by it. But no, I mean, good night, man. There's just not going to be enough time. I'm going to flatten the tires on your vehicle out there, so you guys have to stay much longer. But anyway, because every time I'm even in the company, whether it's, virtually or whatever the case may be, whenever I'm in the room with Stefan folks, I know that I am about to get a masterclass, pun intended, because once again, you need to get it. I know that I'm going to get a masterclass and just it from the little things to the big things. It just blows my mind. I knew that, folks, he ain't going to tell you this, but when I was up there, I was floored because I was talking to some of the people that you had come in, and I guess they were from,
it was a
a tour.
Yeah.
The guy, he and his wife came in for a day just to hang out with you for a day. They flew all the way in from Belgium. I don't know if
From
you remember.
France. They had an orchard in France.
Well, they told me, they had an orchard in France, but he was initially
okay.
they flew out of Belgium.
You spoke to them longer than I did.
Yeah. We spoke to him for quite a while, and they were like, I said, hold on, let me get this right. You got on a plane, flew all the way over the Atlantic. He says, well, we didn't stop there, man. We had this stop, that stop. And we came all the way here. I said, you came all the way here for a one-day class that only last part of the, I said, why would you do that? He says, look around you. This is the reasons why. I was like, man, and this is why I relate, I think, so much with the people that are on that masterclass, because they're all going to be people that are passionate about this sort of thing. But let me back up just a little bit for the people that don't know, the ones that are listening right now, about these trios. What exactly is that? And, I think that's a pretty good place to start for the folks out there that may not know.
It's it's basically a stretch of Bill Mollison's idea. Because before I planted, there was no examples I could look up. Oh, a permaculture orchard, or that idea. There were ideas of food forests. I had seen, I think it was Martin Crawford's book and so on. But I liked Bill Mollison's idea. And if I don't see it here, but
it's down in the library.
Yeah, the big permaculture a designer's manual. And he has a chapter in there about temperate climates and a few pages on how he would have designed an orchard. And what blew me away, because I had at the time an organic orchard, but he had put in something that is like, well, wait a minute, this isn't all apple trees. So he was introducing the idea like it's obvious, of course, where he was putting a support species. I call nitrogen fixer because most of the support species are nitrogen fixers. So you put in one of those, and on each side of that support or nitrogen fixer, you can put a fruit tree or a nut tree or a nut shrub or a fruit shrub, whatever, but a bigger one that'll take the space of a tree. So that was the basis of a trio: a nitrogen fixer, which is supporting the fruit trees on either side, and either a fruit tree or a nut tree on the other side. That's the horizontal trio, I call it, because you have three different species right there. So there's the idea of trio or three. And under that, again, using the idea, but it's simplified because you can get complicated, and I like simple. Nothing beats simple. So how can you go from the idea of the 7 layers of a food forest, which now are 9 layers, if you want to. So how can you integrate those ideas into something just simpler so people can start simply? Well, we have vertical trios. So it's tree as the top. The middle, you put a shrub, and not just any shrub, you put fruit shrubs. So you're using that space under the tree, and under the shrub and around the shrub and around the tree, you put perennials. Could be flowers, could be perennial vegetables, could be herbs, could be a combination of all those. And just look at your bent. What do you like? I love small fruit. Then go heavy on the shrubs, maybe go a little lighter on the understory, the species. And the ratio I like to say is you have 3 trees in a trio. You put 2 shrubs at least for every tree. So how many shrubs would you have? 2 times 3. You have 6 shrubs, and don't put the same, change it up. So you have the option just in one trio of having 6 different species, or say 3 species under a trio, but 2 different varieties or cultivars. So right there, you can change up how long you'll harvest. You can change up how well you get pollination. And the reason I say 2 trios is your second trio with the same idea: 3 trees, 6 shrubs, and let's say 10 perennials per tree. So 10 times 3, 30 per trio. And for 2 trios, 60 perennials, ground covers. Like you use a lot of strawberries, a lot of comfrey, whatever you want to grow, because you got space under those trees. So 2 trios, wow, all of a sudden, you've got the basis or the base for a huge diversity. You could use in your 2 trios, you could say, okay, in our area, I always say, grow what grows like a weed. You say, oh, well, I'm in a countryside where, man, cherries just grow. There's wild cherry trees in the hedgerows and all this. Grow cherries. Don't go try to go crazy. Keep it simple, because I always say nothing beats simple. And if cherries grow like a weed, I know places where people say, yeah, the peach trees, man, they're coming up. Peaches come up wild here. Grow peaches. So in your 2 trios, put 2 peaches. Why? Because having 2 different varieties, 2 different cultivars, you get better pollination. You're almost assured to have 100, not 100, you don't want 100, but having absolutely enough pollination. And the plus on the food side, is you can have an early peach
Exactly.
and a late peach. So I don't even know what you have peaches. What's the peach season can be?
I do early, mid, and late.
Yes.
And
'cause you have
and I
more
learned
than
that
two
from you.
trios.
And I learned that from you. Every one of these peaches, we got early, mid, and late. But as you were, I mean, and we have that
So
for
what
just
is your
about everything.
season?
Oh man,
Earliest peach is
well,
when?
the earliest peach we get in May.
What?
Yeah, in May.
We're not even blooming yet.
we get peaches from May until September. No, almost till the end of September.
Wow.
From May until September. But I would not, because I've been raised in this reductionistic worldview where, well, you just put this, until I studied your stuff over and over and over and over again, because there's also a big preparedness component in a lot of what I do, because there's a reason why I live where I do. There's a reason why we're situated the way we are, is that I'm also have one foot in the preparedness thing. And until I was like, I wonder if he knows that by telling me to have early and late of everything, early, mid, and late of everything, that number one, putting up the harvest just got a whole lot easier. Instead of having all peaches or pears or
overwhelmed. You can't deal
with it. And that's what people don't realize. Just on this one peach tree outside here, we got 400 pounds of peaches off that one tree. And then the one next to it, it was kind of a late bloomer. It was doing like 200 pounds. But what do you do if I have 2,000 pounds of peaches all at one time? I can't put all those away. Plus, I mean, let me just back off here because I'm going to start getting too excited, as you were saying. So we're talking about our trios, we're talking about the other things, but also I think what a lot of people miss is that you could do all of this in a very small footprint.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, just give the example. Your peach tree that gave 400 pounds. Now
400 pounds.
That's only that's a 3-year-old tree, by the way.
Wow. Okay. So let's say people listening go, oh, well, no, peaches probably grow like a weed here. If there aren't many peach trees around, but now that you have, if you didn't harvest all, the squirrels will spread a few seeds around, and those be peaches on the sunny slope popping up. So, what people don't realize is, let's say your other tree that gave just 200 pounds. 200 pounds of peaches. Okay, what are you going to do with
$6 a pound, by the way.
Yeah.
If you bought lesser peaches, $6 a pound is what they were going for.
So just do the math. Your one peach tree, after, let's say 5 years to be in full, maybe it's not, but let's say 5 years. Your one tree giving you 200 pounds at $6, that's $1,200. I said, put in a whole orchard for $1,000. That's really top dollar prices.
And that's $1,200 a year.
Yes.
Okay. So do the math.
Yeah.
On one tree.
And you want to go math more. I always harp on this because people don't think of it. You're working. You make some money. Your $1,200 value of peaches is not $1,200.
Nope.
People always forget. You may be in a bracket where you're paying 50% of your money in taxes. So what is that $1,200 worth? Add another $600.
Thank you.
Okay, now wait a minute. And you know the quality. You know that it hasn't been compromised by people don't want to know how much the fruit industry sprays their fruit.
I'd like to get into that in a minute, but stay on it. Yeah, because that's going to blow people's minds.
We have all kinds of video ideas that we would like to do about that too.
Yes.
And
just to show that point, because we've experienced it. And, it's been over 30 years. I've seen things happening where it was like, but let's continue and we can come back.
Sure.
So that whole aspect of how much it costs, get it done. It's simple. Start there. 2 trios. Like, write it down if you haven't, or make a mental map in your head. You're talking 6 trees, you're talking 12 shrubs, and you're talking 60 plants under. That's the plan I'm outlining.
And again, because you're saying all this and people are probably like, that's a lot of plants. I mean, it is, but what that will allow you to do too then is using propagation, you can then expand that for free. So now like you don't have to go out and buy a whole orchard. Start, and then over time, and again, it's not going to be overwhelming, like you were saying, having to pick X amount of trees at 400 pounds per tree all within a weekend.
And that's you think about return on investment when you get down to your $1,000. Because I kind of thought that tree, by the way,
You got some at discount discarded $10 trees.
I got that particular peach. I got it as a, I think I spent, I want to say it was $30 at Tractor Supply. I'm pretty sure it was a Tractor Supply tree. And it was on the discount rack. They were going to throw it away. I took that tree, stuck it out there, put a ton of mulch all the way around this thing. Okay. Find me a better investment, because people don't really think about it this way.
But sorry to cut you off, but the investment too is your health. Like you said, what's the price that you would put on that?
Well, when you know that every apple that they're calling organic in these grocery stores around here are about a year old, 9 months average on a pear. And then when you kick in the peaches, I mean, $6 for organic peaches. That was $6. What do you think I could get when I say, okay, under the organic standards, man, there's a whole lot of junk they can still put on this stuff. What if I were to say, these are worth, I don't do it for the money. In fact, I give away all of our excess. That third ethic to me is I redistribute it either to the animals that I'm raising or to the people that I know that need it around here. So, but you just think of 400 pounds is $6 a pound. What's that? $2,400 just on that one tree. So folks, that's $2,400 you didn't spend in the store. But now think about when everything is indexed for inflation. Now, how much did you really make for a $30 investment? That I'm already in the black. Well, I was actually in the black on the second year. This is year number 3 for that tree. You will not believe the size of it right now. And 400 pounds. That's just one tree. Now you put how many out there? You put 6 trees.
Yeah, I put 6 in mine.
Now you're not only going to get a nut harvest, a fruit harvest, a berry harvest. I drank a little bone broth a little while ago. Everything in there comes from right here. I mean, I've just picked that rosemary down there, and the thyme, it's growing up through the snow that was down there, the whole 9 yards. I mean, you're growing your medicine, your food. It could even provide a pretty good living to people out there if they needed it.
And not only that, but like just another idea, you could barter or trade for other things as well. So
Thank you.
That's even more money that you're saving.
Absolutely. I'm glad you pointed that out, because I do it all the time. There are things I grow. I don't choose to grow beef here because I don't want to see swales, as Stefan was talking about off camera a little bit. I don't want swales in the higher parts, because part of what I'm doing out here is terracing the top of this mountain, and I'm doing something very different with it. But the thing is yes, I mean, really, what can I do with 400 pounds of peaches? I gave most of them away. We preserved some. We put some back. We freeze dried. I mean, we got to get another freeze dryer because the harvest is too great. But because of what I learned from you, I now realized, and people don't realize this, they want to go out there right out of the gates and start a 1 acre garden or do all this and that. Folks, you don't know what you don't know. If you can space things out early, mid, and late, like I learned from you, your life becomes a whole lot easier, because now I have, number one, there's little nuanced things in the flavor. Like you told me when I was at your place, I'm thinking, man, look at all these apples. I just want to snatch one. He's like, no, what you're going to realize is that you're going to become picky. Yeah, you become something of a fruit snob. And I've become that guy. So if I got 400 peaches out there, do you think I'm eating the ones that's, no.
Yeah, I would do the exact same thing you did when you came. I would go, oh man, these peaches are great. These aren't quite right. But that's the way it is. The big differentiator, Billy, is that you've tasted and experienced and lived what abundance can be. My greatest desire for people to do this, like I say, just start so small that you go, oh, come on, I have more land. Start with 2 trios, because in just your case, it's what at oldest is 5 years. Your trees, your oldest, on the property.
Yeah, they would be about 5 years. Okay. Yep.
In 5 years, you've already experienced absolute abundance. I say when you've experienced that, it changes you. You're never the same. Like you might have had a scarcity mentality before, And that's okay. Like what happened, happened. But when you put in trees and you start to experience, oh my God, look how much I can get from this. Abundance to me is you have more than what you know what to do with. You are literally forced to share. Sharing comes from the abundance. I mean, you know God. You know how when he fills you, he doesn't, he does not kind of fill you. He fills you to abundance. Abundance means you're overflowing. You're like a fountain. You're overflowing. And where does that overflow? Anybody who's around you. You can't get away from it. It's overflowing. It's spilling all over the place. And if you look at nature, nature is the embodiment of God. Nature is grace. Nature is abundance. It's showing his character. And just start with some fruit trees. And that abundance changes you, because then you go, wait a minute. If it's that way for fruit trees, can it be that way for joy in my life? Can it be that way for peace in my heart?
That's some mic drop stuff there, man.
Can it be that way for harmony in the home? Like we were talking this holiday period, my wife and I, and we said, boy, you were talking, the greatest thing is relationship. I said, wow, we are so blessed. All our kids, we have perfect harmony in the home. We love all of them. They love us. And people around kind of go, I wish I had some of that. Why? But it's possible to have. And if it starts with a fruit tree, start it with a fruit tree. Experience abundance in one area, and it will change you. Then you go, wait a minute, if that works for a fruit tree, can it work for aspects of God? Can it work? How many people could say, you know what, I'm just overflowing with joy today? What is that in your life? Like, what's that worth? It spills. I mean, yeah, it's worth it. Start with fruit trees,
That is such a mic drop moment, if ever there was one, because and folks, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the kind of wisdom you get from this wise man. And thinking about that very abundance, I mean, it spreads. So let's say we start with the orchard, or you can do it the way it's created because of what I've learned from you and others. Well, there ain't nobody else like him, but others that teach different aspects of things, let's say regarding animals and some of the other things, that none of these things have to live in isolation, and neither should they. If you think about the abundance that you're talking about, we've given away, we are to the point, there's 8 freezers out in that garage right now. They're all plumb full. I can't put anything else in there. They're so full that we had to give away and showed people, we gave away 350-pound pigs that cleared off the side of this mountain. So problem is a solution. Remember those 3 things he was just talking about? Pigs didn't cost me any money except the initial cost to purchase them, which was like, I don't know, $50. Showed people how to process them. These pigs lived a brilliant life.
And one bad day.
Exactly. One bad day. And they didn't even see it coming. That's the beautiful part about it. So these people got to fill their freezers. So we gave away 3 pigs. We processed, I don't even know how many meat birds that were grazing, or we were doing Jeff Lawton's chicken tractor on steroids. We were running them through parts of the orchard at the time to help build up the soil at the time. Okay, well, I got so much chicken out here, it's coming out of my eyeballs. So we had to give away, people couldn't believe that we're teaching the class and giving away all the meat because it didn't cost me a dime, because it was abundance. I just gave away, before you guys got here, I gave away 3 lambs to people that needed them at a time where people are making a fortune selling whether cows or sheep or goats, or right now you can make a lot of money selling these guys. I gave them away because I could. And because of the things like, okay, so we got an orchard here, and we were talking, prior to coming in here about how you once upon a time used sheep in there to clean those guys up. And wow, you raised 100 sheep out there in your place. Took care of all the pests out there. Things weren't great. You put some meat in the freezer, I assume. And at the same time, there's so much abundance. And I think I don't live with a scarcity mindset. I live with a preparedness mindset. I think there is a difference, but I think so many people live with this scarcity mindset because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know that you can start as you just did a little while ago. You start with in this reductionistic culture that we have in North America. We think, okay, here's a tree, nothing else goes around it. Well, that's not the way you teach it. Why? Let's maybe hit that for a moment. Everybody seems to think, okay, the directions on the tree say don't put anything around it, or why don't you do it that? It's a rhetorical question. I know the answer, but why don't you just plant the tree, put a mulch ring, and then have a nice day? Why do you put so many other things in such close proximity? Isn't that going to kill the tree?
Yeah. I always say, when in doubt, look what nature's doing.
Bam.
So a practice or I don't know if I should till. I don't know if I should mulch. I don't know if I should. Okay. I always, I've been teaching this, for 30 years. I've been giving talks and teaching for a long time. And I say, there's nothing better than look to nature. Why? Because, hey, let's just say that it's past the test of time. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So monoculture, I bought an orchard, 4,000 trees, monoculture. There were 110 tree rows 4 times. So 440 trees of the exact, not only just apples, but the exact same clone.
Wow.
Okay. Rows like that. There were usually 2 to 4 rows of the same thing. If I look to nature, I'd still be looking today to find an example of that. People say, oh yeah, but pine forests exist. Okay. How many of those pine forests were actually planted?
Thank you.
Well, if they're planted, that's not nature showing us. They're growing until a big windstorm comes around, until whatever event
Blight,
comes around. And then all of a sudden, wow, your trees are, because nature doesn't do it that way. There'll be a dominant pine forest with hemlock, with maples, with whatever. That's how nature is showing us the model, the pattern, the design is diversity. That's what works. So why do I plant with shrubs? And because if I look, you can't really look in the case of an orchard in the inside of a forest, because that's not the model it is.
Right.
You look at the edge of a forest. You look at a hedgerow. You look at a windbreak even that's natural and not planted. That's the example. That's what nature is doing. And what is there? There's trees, there's shrubs, and then there's perennials. Well, that's pretty simple. It gets more complex, but that's the pattern. So if you copy, and I like to say, take one step towards nature, and nature will take 10 back towards you. It's that embodiment of grace. We don't deserve eternal life. I did this. You deserve. You know what? I can speak for myself. I deserve death on the cross. That's what I did. He didn't deserve it. I deserved it. Well, nature is that. You take one step. I don't want to kill things. I don't want to be destroying the soil. I don't want to be. What's nature doing? I'll work with you. And you just did one step, and all of a sudden, whoop, you go, wow. Wait a minute, I've never fertilized my orchard that's almost 20 years old. I've never fertilized it. Why? Because I don't need to. Like, I don't want more fruit. This year, like, we did not know. I mean, abundance, yes. On one tree, yeah.
Trees are breaking.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Food bank come in, truckload of fruit, and it's like you barely made a dent in what was left after the harvest season. So yes, abundance is real and it exists, and you can experience it in your yard. Excuse me, in your yard. But as you were talking, I was having the picture of somebody would say, oh, wait a minute, that's nice that you have room because you have a yard, you have a few acres. I don't have that. I'm in an apartment. I don't have access to land. Do have access to land. It's called public land. Maybe there's a park near your house and you could be guerrilla. And you know what? You don't have to be planting expensive trees. You can take fruit from the grocery store take the seeds out of it, either sprout them at home and transplant or plant them direct. There's lots of seeds. Last fall, I did a huge guerrilla round in a part of Montreal. I won't mention where, but I spread the cores because we were storing apples for 2 years. So we had lots of cores, like a few 100 pounds of just the cores. And I was walking along public spaces and tossing those cores. I did it in 10 rounds. And in a few years, because I know I did that probably 10 years ago, and those trees are producing now. And so what do? You say, well, yeah, but they're going to be all kinds. Some are good, some are not so good. Some are sour, some are thorny, some are, yes. But then you go with the whole propagate. How hard is it, Billy, to graft? You know,
pretty darn easy.
Yeah. Once,
and I learned that from you as well, too. Yeah.
And that's always people's reaction. I don't know if I could do that. That seems so complicated. And I've taught this to hundreds of people. And the most common reaction is people do 2 and they go,
that's it.
That's it. Like that's all. Yes. It seems so mysterious, so hard. I don't know if I can do it. Throw some seeds, do it in the parks. Hey, maybe you'll get 50 trees growing there, wild. And then you come back in 2 years, maybe even the next year, and you gather some branches of trees that you do like, that are good, that are proven, that work well, and you graft them. And now this tree grows and people think, oh, it's just wild. They don't see the graft, or maybe they don't identify that, hey, that was grafted. And next thing you know, wow, that public space has got more fruit than people can pick. So you can go along and go, wow, I got more trees than a lot of these orchards because they're just growing wild.
Right.
People go, they're wild. I can pick. And you know how you're in front of one tree that's loaded and you go, I can't pick all this. There's too much. And especially if it's a seedling. So that's going to be a full vigor tree. It'll produce later than if you buy on a dwarf fruit. But when it produces, I was in Switzerland, one of the hosts where we were teaching a course said, man, that is a big pear tree, Beat. You know, that's a huge pear. He says, you know how much that pear produced this fall? 1 metric ton.
What?
2,000.
Oh my goodness.
2,200 pounds of pears. I thought, I've heard of those trees, but I saw it and it's like, that is a big tree. He says, yeah, a ton of fruit. And they juiced it all. And he sold from one tree, he sold thousands of euros of juice. It's like,
you can't beat that. I mean, you can't beat that. I can take you to a place. I mean, over at this college has been around since before the Civil War. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 apple trees over there. And nobody knows what they are. Nobody has any idea what they are. And nobody picks them. Michelle and I were over there jogging one day, and I kid you not, you can literally go out there. I bet off of one of the trees over there. I'll have to swing by there with you guys and show it to you. I think they know the name of one of these varieties, but they've been around pre-Civil War, at least they think. Nobody knows the name of them, but here they are, right sitting under no cedar rust, no problems with all of these evergreens that are around it. And I'm like, hold on, man, this thing is highly resistant. So I bit into it and I'm thinking, okay, well, the flavor isn't perfect, but for a free apple, if nothing else, do you have any idea how many pigs and chickens I could feed with this? And these kids are walking past, the ones at this college, they walk past
every day,
every single day. And between the 4 of these trees, I bet this thing has produced it's got to be several tons. And it does it every single year. These kids are walking right past there to go eat junk in this chow hall that they have over there. And it's sad what they're feeding these. I mean, they're paying for this. I don't even get it. But you're walking past real food to go eat the artificial stuff in this place. It was the craziest thing. But yeah, like you're saying, there was a time where, I mean, just with the guerrilla gardening and volunteer, I can't even tell you how many hundreds of acres I've had offered to me if you add them all up over the years, where one guy, in fact, in Asheville caught me planting, I was guerrilla gardening sweet potatoes on what I thought was public property. he comes over with his dog and he's like, who are you? I'm like, well, who are you? He says, I kind of own this property. And I said, oh, well, in that case, hey, come to find out after I kind of talked to him for a minute, he says, hey, if you can prove, he said, this is about 1 acre here. If you can do something with this, I own land all over town, man. Do you think? So folks, there are options out there. There are so many options. He's like, okay, prove yourself on this 1 acre to even be given that opportunity. So I'm kind of quizzing him. Well, what would you allow me to do out here? Could I plant orchards? Could I run animals? He says, I don't know about the animals. I mean, he says, I think they have some ordinance that, you can't have, I mentioned sheep or something. He says, well, I don't think they'll allow sheep. I tell him the sheep identify as dogs. So he starts busting out laughing and he's like, okay, man, I think we can give this a shot. I'm like, okay, chickens. How about that? But yeah, there are tons of options out there. And like you said, whether it's guerrilla gardening, which I'm all for, especially in public areas, there's a number of them that I've done, that I've started, that I do, not because I need them, to show other folks that, yes, this is a viable option. And so I'm glad you brought that up as well.
One more point. You pointed out the idea of these old apple trees. Think of it, be completely selfless and think, could I put some trees like this that will outlive me, outlive my children, probably even outlive my grandchildren? There's an example right there. Who planted? No clue. What are they? Probably don't know. When were they planted? Like, when was that? Pre-Civil War?
Before 1861, actually.
Well, that's 150 years, right?
Long time.
Yeah, long time. And could those trees live? Absolutely. Trees can live a long time, as long as they're not on the dwarfing rootstock. But even if they are, you can just hill up the soil around the base and they will become no more long. They'll be rooted on their own roots. But a tree can live 100 years. So think of when we're talking about that investment, buying a tree that cost me $30, that gave me $1,200 of peaches. That really isn't $1,200. It could be $1,800 because of the taxes. And I know what the food is and I know where it came from. And it's going to produce. Peaches won't live for hundreds of years, but there are lots of trees that absolutely will. 100 years? You probably won't be around to see it. But people will, they'll say, wow, I don't know who planted this. I think it may have been my great-grandfather. And I've had several people over the years contact me, and they're my age, let's say. They're boomers. And they say, you know what, I'm doing this for my grandchildren. And their grandchildren, as long as they keep land in some way, they'll go, wow, my grandparent, my grandfather, grandmother, they did something amazing. These trees have been here, have produced, have fed us, have fed animals, have fed the wildlife for 2 generations, and they're not going away, these trees. They're actually in their prime and getting better.
And that's man, I am going to be absolutely selfish with the time here. So folks, I know I've gone over, but hey, that's all good. See, we got a question or two out there. I'm having a hard time reading with these birth control glasses. Would you? It says, is there a special plant I can grow? I grew up in New England along the Food Forest Creek, and coyotes and bobcats will deter them. Other than thorns, is that making any sense? Any specific plant I can grow up in New England?
Coyotes and bobcats. You don't want coyotes and bobcats.
I guess he wants to deter the coyotes and bobcats.
Specific plants they can grow to deter.
I don't know the predators, which plants would deter them. I mean, the predators are following the food.
Well,
you're growing something that will attract their prey.
And those guys they're not omnivores. So what I would typically do in an area is like what I would do here is a natural hedgerow with, if you got some areas that are very wild with multiflora rose, I would cultivate it. You don't really,
or blackberry.
Blackberry. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I'll show you in a little while. We had patches of multiflora rose and blackberry and areas that we wanted to graze. but I left it exactly where it is alongside the fence. I mean, well, at least on my neighbor's side of the fence. So I left it there as a natural deterrent for the donkeys that they have over there that want to reach over the fence and eat up my stuff. Look, if lions in Africa will not go through their version of a multiflora rose,
Yeah.
I got to believe that coyotes and the others. And if you mix them, I mean, it's a thorny, nasty, awful mess.
Yeah.
But I don't think anything's going to want to challenge it.
Growing a few trees that are thorny or spiny, I can relate to what they're asking. Like,
Oh yeah, you can.
without getting into the thorns, because the thorns are a thorny issue, and once you have them, it's a whole other level to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
Because nothing beats easy, and having thorny and spiny plants does not add to the easy maintenance. And I'm an absolute
you
nut
saw it.
over maintenance and how you can reduce it.
And that's one of the things that, with the benefit of hindsight, I wish, because one of the things that grow really well here is black locust. And so, but I'm also thinking, okay, shoot, black locust also burns hotter than any other wood. So it could be, so I could coppice it, bring it down, but obviously I'm not going to stick little twigs in the fireplace that are this big. So black locust has the higher BTU rating than pretty much all, but I can't think of, there's one that has a higher BTU rating than black locust. But the thing was, I was thinking, okay, well, they grow here. It's a nitrogen fixture. Going to go well with the bees. The sheep will eat it, the whole 9 yards. But on the flip side, I got those pesky thorns, especially when I'm going to do what I'm about to do here in a week or two, hopefully. And that's when I start coppicing. Well, actually, I'm going to pollard a lot of these trees out there. Mm-hmm. And when you're dealing with those thorns, man, that's just another mess. And it's not like I can chop and drop that sort of thing. And then, because one of its many virtues is the fact that it doesn't break down. That's why we make posts out of black locust.
I would use, we're kind of going away from the question, but the whole issue of thorns, because you mentioned not thorns. I think the best example I've seen is Jeff Lawton's video of his greening the desert site in Jordan. So Discover Permaculture is the YouTube channel. Great resource. But he dealt with spiky plants, because the first plants they used were the ones that were the hardiest, the most able to survive that environment, but terrible to work with. And what they did with those early super thorny, one, when you work with them, you're just dealing with them. You're not doing other. So all you have is thorny plants. So however you set up, whether a cart or whatever, you're putting them only the spiky ones. So they did what he called spiky pits. So they dug 6 feet down in the soil. It's desert, so they don't get much water. And they used those spikiest branches, and they just filled these pits with spiky branches, and then they'd sprinkle some manure that they had and a little bit of compost, and then they covered them. And he said after about 4 or 5 years, the trees around there absolutely exploded, because he thought, and it makes sense, it's the mycelium, the mushroom fungal strands that had been spreading in the soil, were decomposing those spiky branches, feeding, and then giving that to the surrounding trees, and everybody benefited. But that was a way to deal with those spiky pits. I haven't done that myself. I find it just quicker to put them in our brush pile, because we use them where we have people breaking over the fence. We have a fence to keep deer out, but people want to also come in. And so I just put them wherever the fence is down. I dump a load of these branches, and you can come across, and I can guarantee that if they cross, they only cross once, because as soon as you put your foot in there, you go, what? And so anyway, you can use it. Like, it's function element. So what's the function you're looking for? In that case, keep some of these animals away. What's one of the elements? Spiky plants. They've been used for a long time. As a species of plant that would repel them, I do not know. Try some of your bone sauce. That might be an element that would keep. I don't know how it would work on.
It doesn't work on predators so well. Only browsers. It works pretty well on rabbits and you know, I still got to come up with a bear thing, but yeah, there's some ways in which we can. I think what you're saying there right off the bat, multiflora rose with with blackberry. I don't. That's, you know, during World War II and the hedgerows in France. I mean, that's what it was. That's what it was. I mean, they needed specially equipped tanks just to even get through that stuff. That's how awful it was. So if it worked that well then, I mean, I got to believe that it could still work now. In fact, that's one of the strategies.
And can you imagine? So let's say you had a whole, do they call them squadron or battalion, or let's say a group of tanks went through and they punched, that hedgerow was knocked down, beaten down, destroyed. You know what? The farmer just had to come by, cut all those plants right at the base. None of those things died.
No.
And they would have come back, even though tanks and war had gone over them, did come back. And, you know, that's that resilience part of.
Well, if these tanks couldn't even get through it, that they had to have specially equipped tanks just to get through this stuff, it tells you how effective it could be. So for anybody out there that's thinking, okay, I want a natural barrier out there, for me, it's just a whole lot easier to put a woven wire, which I have, you know, all you want to talk about rappelling down the side of a mountain with 300 pounds of wire. That's not a fun day, but man, I know hey folks, we got a whole lot of other things we got to get done around here. We're going to do some filming and we're going to talk and we're going to hang out. And these guys literally drove all night. And you talk about hardest. Well, they're drinking some of Michelle's coffee, so this stuff's kind of high octane. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I'm not a coffee drinker, so boing.
Yeah, so
I'm
you're
alive. I'm awake.
Yeah, you'll be singing a different tune when
And
that
the
stuff
sun
wears
has come
off.
out. Look at that.
Yeah, how
Glorious.
about that? Yeah, so maybe we can get outside here in a little while. Tell everybody where. Well, first of all, Zach, if you wouldn't mind, tell everybody about that course again, the master course, because folks, I'm telling you, it is absolutely positively worth it. Where can they find that? And where can they find all your social media? And what do you guys got planned for the future? I mean, is there things you have coming up you want folks to know about?
Sure. So the master class is at www.permaculture.study. And basically it's his now 30 plus years of experience designed into 11 different courses and really broken down. So they can do it at their own leisure whenever they have. It is fantastic. We gamified it. It basically covers whether you're a visual learner, audio learner.
That's the part that I don't know if that was your design, but even the quiz was fun to take.
Yeah, I wanted to design.
It was fun. It was like, how, dude, this is cool. He made a crossword puzzle out of it. And I'm thinking, how original.
Well, because his
kudos, big time.
Thank you. But like you said, I feel like he's a very good teacher. He's very good at what he does. It's just we call it the Steve Jobs effect. So you have Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak for Apple. I like to feel like I'm his Steve Jobs. He's the brains and I'm just the designer, I guess. Aside from that, he's on social media. He has.
I guess the best would be, or
maybe check out the YouTube channel. We have so much free content on there. Aside from that, we have a bunch of videos that have been filmed and will be going out. Do one high production video a month now. But the $1,000 orchard video will come out sometime this year.
And if somebody has a better preference, usually listeners like to listen. So if somebody likes podcast formats, we have a podcast called POP, Permaculture Orchard Podcast. So look up on their Permaculture Orchard podcast.
Billy's on it, and we'll hope to film another one with him as well.
The pop had the pimp. So who knew? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I love how you guys roll, man. I mean, folks, I'm not overstating it when I say he's taught me more than probably any other. There's a whole lot of people I've learned from, y'all, whether it's Joel, whether it's Greg Judy, I've never spent more time ever learning from a particular person than I have from you. Like I said, before you had the masterclass, you had another thing that I bought where it was a virtual tour, and it was the coolest thing where you could move the thing. Do you still have that too?
That. We do. Because like you said, he was having people come from all over the world. And basically what you said, like he felt bad that they're spending all this money to come and tour. So that's
That was years
that's
ago.
years
but
ago. But I was
But that was the
first-
coolest thing. Did you come up with that too?
Yes, sir. Yes,
that
sir.
is it still available?
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
it
It's on miracle.farm, and that took me a year to put together. But
I thought that was the. I mean, it was so ahead of its time, and I
Yeah.
think it still is.
yeah, I think it was a little too ahead of its
Yeah.
time. But
But it was using a 3D camera to film a surrounding, which basically what I was trying to get, and this is what we were discussing. I had been doing tours, and you came that day that the people from Belgium were there. It was a tour day. So I wanted to capture more than the tour, but for people didn't have to travel. My goal really with the virtual tour was to say, look, if you're more than 2 hours away, and I mean, there isn't an English tour that doesn't have people from at least 8 hours away. Always. I mean, I've done it for enough years. There's always somebody from, I'm, from Ohio. I'm from Virginia. I'm from, okay. And I always give a prize to whoever's coming from the farthest. It's like, okay, you made an effort. Here you go. And so the virtual tour idea was we would walk through the orchard, and I usually want to stop someplace to give people, okay, here's what I want to talk about. I want to explain trios. Well, we took a 3D camera, set it up, and this is where I talk about trios.
That was
because
brilliant.
This is what then I go out, and that's the video is explaining this site and trying to get you to understand. Because as you were saying, there's fine points about teaching. If you're
it has to be fun.
it has to be
Yeah.
fun, but also has to touch the way you like to learn. So that's why we came out with the podcast, because there are people who learn better by listening.
Mhm.
The videos, the masterclass, the film is for more visual learners. They like to see the results, and they like to learn that way, and that's how they learn best. And then there's the kinesthetic people who they want to come to a tour because seeing is one thing, but I got to be there. I got to smell. I got to touch. I want to experience it. So that's where we tried
Well,
with
we don't have
the
the smell,
virtual.
but
We don't have
everything
the
else
smell,
in the
but
virtual
everything.
tour,
Yeah. And
I felt like I honestly, I thought that thing was so awesome. I was telling I didn't have at
It was
that
a
time.
nightmare to make though, but
I don't know how to this day it is still cutting edge. I mean, I thought this is the coolest education I think I've ever had in my life. I don't even think I had a YouTube channel back when you did that. That's how long ago it was.
yeah, it's
probably
2017.
yeah. It was
No, I didn't have a
early.
YouTube channel back then. I didn't start doing this until 2019, but we were doing other stuff long before then. And I saw this and I'm like, I didn't even know this was possible. I'm like, you put your cursor over it, the thing pops up, tells you everything about it, genes, species, the whole 9 yards. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, man, this is absolutely positively incredible. So you guys, look, all the folks out there that are wanting, is that still available for purchase?
Yeah, that's on miracle.farm. So
I would get it all because there wasn't anything I was aware of that you guys did that I didn't buy.
Well, we'll
because-
sweeten the pot if you want for your audience. If you want, or if they're interested in the masterclass, when you go to checkout, use code POP, so POP 250, and we'll give your viewers $250 off if they want to.
I think it's
Give it
worth
a
every
try.
dime. I think it's a crime to discount it, to be honestly, because when I looked at when I went through the first course, I'm like, hold on, man, I can't even believe how much stuff you guys put into this. I was like, who makes test taking fun?
We wanted.
It was actually
We decided on the price. We wanted it, like you said. You can't. We'd love to give it away, but otherwise people don't take it serious.
No, they don't.
But we wanted to make it at a price point where it's an investment, but you're going to learn a lot and you're going to want to learn. So we have to make a product that,
And as you were saying, Billy, the whole point of gamifying was think back when you were in school.
yeah.
Is there one teacher you really connected with?
Mhm.
Chances are they made learning that subject for you fun. I mean, I always found, hey, look, what do you remember? There's teachers, I don't even remember their name, but there's teachers that, man, they had an impact on me. Why? Because it was fun to learn. You have to have fun learning. Maybe the best example of the fun aspect in teaching content is the Magic Model course. And it's absolutely meant to take you back to when you were 7 years old, Because when you were sprawled out on the floor playing something, you were having fun. It doesn't matter what the game was. You were learning it. You were doing it. So I've always tried to integrate having fun, because you're like a sponge when you're having fun.
I
When
totally
you're
agree.
When you're sitting down and you have to learn this, I have to get this, you're not having fun. And chances are in 5 years, you won't even remember the name of that course. So fun is integral to doing it, because the whole thing, whether it's the master class, whether it's like we started with the virtual tour, then we had pruning course, like by far the best pruning course. I mean, I'm biased, but
course on
absolutely.
yeah.
And then it was the master class, but all these were meant to, I just want people to start.
Well, the other thing that's cool too is it's built like a community. So
Yeah.
it's people that no matter where they are in their experience level or in their projects, like your chat here, everybody comes together. You can ask questions. He answers. If Billy's there, he answers. It's just like a fountain, or like a little community that people can bounce ideas off of each other.
And it's meant to be for regardless of where you're at.
Yeah.
So the first 3 courses are, I haven't started, I don't have land. Okay, here's your foundational. Here's what you have to learn before. Because I've done consulting, and I mean, I'm probably the most expensive consultant, because I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want just you benefit from it. So I charge the most of anybody. And why? Because if I'm going to take the time to teach one person and only they will benefit, I would rather take that time so that it benefits thousands of people, because that's how you really make an impact, a much broader impact. And so that's the foundation courses. And I've had customers who they didn't do the course. They didn't do this, and they bought land. And then I'd ask them, well, what do you want to do? And it's like, what they want to do and what this land will be easy to do it with, just don't
2 very different
align.
things. Yeah. And it
This
always
is not going to align. And I said to people, look, I hate to break it to you. You had the idea after you chose the site, and you did not think it's normal. You just did not know these need to match up. And I'd say your best bet, if you want to really follow that end goal, is sell this place and find another site that is aligned with that goal. And that's part of that foundation, because, and I've saved people over 100,000 in 20 minutes just because I could see things. Just, I mean, you've done it too. You go to a site.
And it's easier when you're looking at another person's work. I can look at it dispassionately.
Right, exactly.
And they can't. And that's the problem.
And that's part of it is, I have a super little checklist in there before you buy, because once you fall in love with the site, you're done. You won't be in a position to negotiate.
No.
I mean, there's things you need to look at, and it's a way of scoring each site you look at or you look at online. And then you have a dispassionate score. This site scores 45. This site only scores 22. Oh, I really like that on the house, but it's 22.
Yep.
You realize, like, it's matching on one thing, but that one's matching 9 out of 10. Like, it's close to being your perfect site. Anyway, and then the next one is setting up what to choose, how to design the orchard or your trios. And that's a foundational part. Before you plant, before you get going, before you design it, here's the ones you'll need. And then the third part of the course is maintenance and profiting. So, I mean,
yeah, you set it up A to Z, like you have from.
If, like in your case, for you, you really could dive into just the maintenance courses now, and you know them because your trees speak for the results. Like, that's why we wanted to come here, because
I want to go and see it.
Yeah, you've applied it.
Well, you won't think so right now, because there's a lot of things that still, I mean, you can see this pear out here, if you can see it. I mean, it's pretty vegetative. I mean, it needs pruning. I haven't had a chance to do anything.
But see, I can reassure people, you'll always have a part of a tree or a tree, it won't match to the perfect situation. That's okay. The most important, I'd say, is, did you just start? I didn't know enough, but you started. If you started, you're going to, because the thing people don't understand that you're now benefiting from is get those trees in. Oh, it might not be the right one. Get them in. Oh, but that tree, I got it at Tractor Supply and it was on special. Get it in. Why?
400 pounds of peaches in a year.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. And it's capital. It's accruing. The interest is just what you get. But each year that tree is getting better.
Well, and then you're making even more if you stop to think about what you were saying a moment ago. So $6 a pound this year. What do you think they're going to be next year?
Yeah.
At this rate, it could be up to $8. I mean, you know, the shrinkflation and everything else going on. So folks, there's a whole lot of different, probably ought to, oh my goodness. Yeah. We've gone about 30 minutes longer than I expected. And I'm feel like I didn't even ask anything yet, but don't worry. We're going to get more content out of these guys. And, man, thank you guys so much for making the trip. I can't even believe they're standing up straight right now after driving through all that snow straight through. They showed up this morning, and I'm thinking, oh, my goodness. I saw you down by the electric gate. I'm like, somebody's about to get Kentucky fried as soon as you grab that thing because there's 10,000 volts. And I'm yelling down the hill, but I don't think you heard me.
No.
It's okay. I've been Kentucky fried more than once.
Oh, my goodness. I'm like, oh, man. But I guess you saw that,
I
okay, you
know.
had to be a
Yes.
little bit careful.
I
So.
saw the Charger right there. It was-
Yeah, you usually drive through that thing, but I didn't want to mess up that nice car. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for being here. Hey, folks, go check them out. We're going to leave all the links down below, especially for those in the audio format. You're starting to understand why this guy's been such a massive inspiration for me and a lot of what we do out here. It's not, I mean, they all works together in a permaculture system. So folks, you know the deal. Till next time, stay alert, stay alive.
Channel and nature, let the knowledge ring. Roots that run deep, wisdom from soil. Permaculture springs, let the ideas unfold. I'm grooving with the truth. Feeling nature's groove. Who's got the answers? All we need to do, listen to the earth, they got us through. Let the seeds of the shade, watch the world spin. From the smallest sprout to harmony begin. In the cycle of life, where the magic's alive.